This is the All Things Nerd Podcast, Season 3, Episode 24. It is the E3 Winners and Losers show. So E3 2019, we're going to break down all the panels, what was great, what fell flat on its face, and hopefully you can join us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Malice Corp, in the interactive chat room and tell us what your thoughts were on the cast. If you don't get it here this week, make sure to come back because every single week we record this live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/Malice Corp. So with that, here's the intro. Hello to all the Geek Enthusiasts and Nerd Aficionados. This is Mest 5150 with another All Things Nerd podcast. I am back. Thank you to the three gentlemen that are here on the cast with me this week that did a great show last week when I wasn't able to appear. And they did so great that we figured we'd bring them back to actually discuss E3 after they talked about their hopes and dreams for what E3 would be this year.
Yeah, we have merit-based participation.
The channel didn't burn down, so that's a good thing.
No, you guys did a great job.
We're singed around the edges.
But yeah, let's talk about who's here on the cast with us. You have me, the host, Mess5150. Also joining me on the cast, we have Aaron. How are you, sir?
Fabulous. Just went through all that E3 coverage. That's a lot.
The people don't even understand. So we'll explain. What about you, IC Zoro? You're here on the cast. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not believing you about how long things are anymore. Phrasing.
And
Video clips or amounts of work to be done, I mean.
And Masonic Vader's here on the cast as well.
Yeah, I was expecting, standard documentary, 60 minutes. No, get freaking biblical proportions there of stuff. It's like War and Peace mixed in with
numbers.
Yeah, War and Peace mixed in with a little Gettysburg mixed in with the Civil War by Ken Burns. It's all just thrown in there. It's crazy.
It was the equivalent of a Ken Burns documentary. Yeah.
Well, if here's the thing, when E3 is amazing and fantastic, there's shows that have been just knockout every single panel. You watch the same amount of time, and it just feels like time flies. This was not one of those years, but we'll get into that. Lastly, joining us on the cast so we can get the female perspective of how E3 went and what games she's looking forward to, we have Super Hoovy and Freak joining us on the cast.
There was so much content that I actually had to watch it with my wireless headphones, not these ones, but a different set for my phone, as I was waiting to get my hair cut. That's how long it ran. I was like, I need my haircut. I can't, I'm just going to do both at the same time. That's what we're going to do.
At least that way you don't have to chat with the hairdresser.
Well, that's the thing. That's the funny thing, though. The hairdresser saw her watching video game presentations. Was like, this is a huge nerd.
Yes. I had one headphone out and one headphone in, and we were chatting about the games and stuff like that. And I think I confused her, but it was okay. She got a good tip. So
I ain't gonna lie. I think there was a couple.
No shame.
On the couch, and all of a sudden I wake up. I was like, "Oh, it's done. All right, shoot, just started." I thought I fell asleep. Must have.
So watching some of these chemically altered.
My son called me a nerd.
Sleep-inducing, yeah.
Your son called you a nerd?
Yeah, my 7-year-old son called me a nerd. Yeah, while I was sitting here watching, he's like, "That's a nerd thing to do." And I was like, "Dude, you're sitting there literally playing Majora's Mask right now. Shut your mouth."
Well, they've got.
I'm sure my kid would have said something, but he's on Minecraft all damn day.
Yeah, I wish my kid would have said something so I could be like, yeah, but why do you know the entire roster of the 1967 Pittsburgh Steelers, you weirdo?
That's impressive.
Oh, no, he's a
very
deep dive football guy.
But that's baseball. Or did you say Steelers or
Steelers?
Pirates. Pirates. Never mind. Sorry. Back on.
So usually we start this cast out with talking about what everybody's been geeking out on. However, I threw at the other four people here on the cast more than enough content to fulfill their week of geek outs because I gave them every single panel from E3 to watch to be prepared for this show. Which in years past has usually been about 6 to 8 hours, and that's what I told everybody. And it turned out to be about 10 to 11, I think, this time around.
And I'm pissed, man. I didn't get any swag. Where's my swag?
So that's what our geek out's been. So we're going to just dive right into this. We're going to go panel by panel, talk about the winners, the losers, if it was great, and if we could even get through it. Before I go into every single panel really quickly, I want to know, me being the host on the show, I watched every single minute of these panels, but going down the line from AA Ron to Super, I want to know if you got through all the panels, if you're able to watch all of it, or if there was some that you just had to like skip past. AA Ron, what about you?
I did have to skip through a lot of the PC Gamer podcast, the press conference, but for the most part, I watched all of it.
And welcome Ruru into our chat room with the Nerd Keanu, which is something we're going to definitely talk about. Yeah. What about you, Icy Zorro? How'd you do?
I gotta agree there. I want to say I did like 70 to 80% of the content, and most of the stuff that I skipped was PC Gamer. They were polite enough. They were polite enough to list all the things they were going to be talking about at the beginning of their 2-hour segment. And after skipping around a little bit to see if I could find stuff I wanted to look at, I really couldn't. And those were.
I made it
through. We'll talk about it.
The first couple of minutes of their first interview, I faded out so much that I had to skip.
The only thing that made me even a little intrigued later on was the female host who was dressed like the cute nerd girl in the.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I want to get into that. Yeah, we'll definitely. Masonic, how about you on the watch? How'd you do?
Yeah, man, I pulled out Al Bundy and fell asleep, but quite a bit, I think. Yeah, there were definitely some interesting things, and I did try to see the stuff I really wanted to see. However, I don't know if it's just the fact that I haven't been consistent in gaming for the last, 20 years or so. Maybe I've just recently got back into it hardcore. But yeah, man, I was just trying to find the stuff I really want to see, and then I was fast forwarding trying to find things. Oh, that looked cool, and then stop and go back, and it was rough, man. And dozing on some, drooling a couple of times,
Yeah, I know. And lastly, Super, how'd you do with the watch of all the panels?
Overall, pretty good. I skipped a lot of the host talking of the PC gamers because I didn't want to be ashamed that I was a PC gamer listening to them. They actually made me feel good because I thought I was really bad at like talking and describing games and trying to find ways to make it exciting and get people to come play them, because I thought I was pretty bad, but they made me look good. So that kind of felt good. But some of the games did look interesting, and some did not. And I had to skip the FIFA and the Madden in the EA. It's FIFA, it's Madden. It's FIFA, it's Madden.
No, we're gonna go right into that. You gave me the segue to that, so let's go into our panel. So the first one that came up throughout the weekend was the EA Play. Something that people aren't usually ever looking forward to because it is EA and microtransactions are involved just to watch it.
And they're going to do a new first-person shooter that's a version of their old first-person shooter, and they're going to do 2 different sports games that are new versions of their old sports games. I don't need to watch that.
Well, okay, this is what they covered. So they opened up. So you had Jedi Fallen Order, right?
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order. You had Apex Legends introducing a new character. You had. See, this is the only notes that I left behind because I did this one at work. You had Madden. You had FIFA, you had Sims 4, and there's one last one that I am forgetting. Oh, Battlefield. Battlefield 4 with new maps. And lastly, there was about a 7-minute clip for Anthem, which was hilarious for the factor that they talked about how they're trying to fix the game because it rolled out horrendously. And in the middle of them trying to talk about what they were going to start doing to fix the game, the feed cut out. So it's like, hey, it's just like the game.
Oh yeah, then they put the little thing of technical issues.
Yeah. There was that in I think at least one time in every video we watched where it was like, hey, by the way, the stream's down.
Yeah. Yeah. Because most of them we were watching the ones through IGN, but the EA one that I watched was actually EA itself that lost the stream when they were having the little segment. But
all the people in the audience was probably playing some kind of phone game and breaking the bandwidth or something.
Yeah.
Not paying attention.
On the EA front, anything that stood out to you guys? Anything that you were like, this is a win, that you loved the presentation?
Oh, come on. Jedi Order, dude.
Yeah, clear winner.
That looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
I was kind of nervous when I first saw it initially because, the thing about EA that gets me is, like we've already said, they kind of recycle and like, hey, here's Madden 2020, and this year we've added a water bottle. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. They add one or two things and then you call it a day, kind of thing. And I was nervous at first with seeing it because it reminded me a lot of previous games. And to me, after watching it, it set itself apart from it. And the graphics were great. I already like the storyline and how it goes. I like the time period it's set in, which is great because there's a lot of during that time period, you can do a lot of things with that. And I think they found a good niche for it. And it could be potentially more series or more DLC as time moves forward, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah, well, you were saying how it looks like other games. The first thing I thought when they started with the demo, especially with the wall walking and then the climbing and then some of the force fighting and the lightsaber fighting stuff, I was like, oh, it's Uncharted meets Force Unleashed. And that's basically what it looks like. And that looks good.
Mm-hmm. We get Ruru 2 bringing up Forrest Whitaker in it. Yeah, he reappears as Sal Goral in it.
That's literally that was my kicker right there, because I wasn't expecting them to bring any of the voice actors from any of the Star Wars movies at all into it. And the fact that they're tying this directly into Rogue One, I find that amazing. And I love that idea.
That's the thing. So if you watch, Super, you skipped. I don't know if you watched did you watch all the interview with this one? Okay.
I did. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's what got me the most about this game was in the interview when they brought up this is canon, this is part of the current universe, and what jumped in my head was when I was watching the gameplay for it, I see Forrest Whitaker, and then the main character, I'm like, I know that guy, I know that guy's face, I know him, and he's from Shameless. He's he's from Gotham as well. The one playing the main character.
Oh yeah, it's the guy. It's the kid playing Joker, and I'm binging Gotham right now. So I was like, oh, him.
Yeah. So and then they ask, can you go light or dark? And they're like, no. And they're like, why? And like they were like really tight-lipped about like, because these characters are gonna appear in other stuff. This might tie into the Benioff and Weiss trilogy. This might be why they're being so tight-lipped. This actor might end up already being, and I got really excited about that because I'm like, this could be something huge that's setting up where we're going with the new trilogy. Or
they would have to age him up significantly, but that would be really cool.
Well, no, because they're not saying they haven't said where it falls. Everybody's still saying Knights of the Old Republic, they think, or it could be this like after the Jedi have gone, after Order 66 is done. So
remember, it's totally disconnected from what we know now.
I was thinking episode 9.
Yeah, it takes place right after the prequels and before Rogue One. So that got me excited about it. On the other front, other game that I actually got excited for, I am not a player of this game. However, Aaron used to be. I don't know if he still is or not. The FIFA game. Actually, when you said that you skipped through FIFA, Super, the Volta football mode for the street football in the cage looks freaking awesome and actually got me really excited for this.
Yeah, well, it looks reminiscent of what they did with FIFA Street a few years back, and I mean, it was a great concept, and they could have done a lot more with it, but they just, I don't know, for whatever reason, gave up. Either it wasn't selling enough, or people weren't getting hype enough about it. But the fact that they're bringing it back as a part of FIFA itself, that's aces to me. I love it.
Yeah, that was my two big wins from EA Play, was those two alone. Apex I haven't started playing yet, so I can't really say. I was very interested in the new character that they announced. She does look kind of cool. I like the whole defensive aspect of it. And then you had the weird of the EA panel. You had Madden, and it was kind of weird. Juju Smith-Schuster has been out on the stage at EA before, and he's gotten a huge applause.
Yeah, last year I think.
They brought him out this year, and it was kind of like, oh, he's here again. The way the audience reacted. There was like 3 people that were like really hyped, and then everybody else is just like
Steelers fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then I think the weirdest point of the EA play was the Trevor Noah interview.
Who knew how deep Trevor Noah got into friggin' soccer? Holy crap.
No.
It's
It's
just
not surprising,
odd
though, I guess.
interview, though. Was that super?
I mean, he's from South Africa. South Africa soccer's big there, so I guess it doesn't really it's not that surprising.
It just was a weird, just out of context interview that just all
It was like, no, I play FIFA for a living. I do the daily as a way to be able to play FIFA for a living.
And then Madden, like you said, it's just a rehash. They made it even more arcade-ish where they're adding in the X Factor abilities, which look kind of cool. But
that looked cool. But I haven't played Madden since like 2008, 2009. I don't even think I'd be able to play it anymore.
To me, I think the EA presentation was a little subdued because I think they were trying to focus on the Lost Order to try to show that they've made up for their mistakes from Battlefront 2. Because they really got kicked in the nuts when they brought out Battlefront 2 and all the extra stuff, the extra buy-in and all this stuff, and they really messed up that game initially. They've made it better as times move forward, but when it first came out, it was like I liked it at first, but it went away really fast because started seeing the writing on the wall. I think they really just made sure that this year when they rolled out the new game, Star Wars inspired game, that they really listened. They really want to show them that they really try to put as much into this as possible, and hopefully they don't screw us over again by saying, oh, by the way, you're going to be able to do this if you give us $20 additional on top of the game.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they learned, but Disney threatened to pull the Star Wars license from EA, so that's probably part of it. So
huge deal. I mean, that happened within the first 2 weeks of them releasing Battlefront 2. So yeah. They've definitely learned, especially considering how much work they put into it. I mean, all the new DLC that they put out for free. I mean, all the new characters they put out that you don't even have to work for anymore. It's beautiful. I just recently started picking it up again, and it's really come a long, long way from what it was after launch.
Yeah.
And the last thing on the Fallen Order that I do want to bring up, because I'm hoping that this wasn't just a random happenstance, but that somebody is either a huge fan of Asian actors or really wanted to do an ode to them, because the robot's name is BD1, and I really think that's so close to BD Wong that I really hope that somebody named it that just for the.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
I
That would be
didn't
awesome.
pick that up. Yeah.
I'm like, that is so. The way he said it, he's like BD1, and I was like, that sounds like BD Wong.
Love that guy.
Could be.
That's awesome.
So, and if it's not true, we can start the rumor here and make it go internet, and then it's true.
You heard it first here on the All Nerd Network.
Come check out our other stuff that we do. You can see it written below. The website is malice-corp.com. Head on over there, click on podcasts and other media. You'll see all the different podcasts that we do, or anywhere that you listen to this, whether it's on Stitcher or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to drop a review and share it with others. Let others know when we have new episodes coming out and what you think about it. So that's the little plug there. Okay, so the next panel was Microsoft. Microsoft brought 60 games, technically, but it was a lot of trailers.
Yeah, 48 of those games were in a 3-minute segment.
Yeah, you had, and I don't have all of them written down because some of them were in like a quick little like 30-second segment. Outer Worlds, Ninja Theory, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Minecraft Dungeons, Jedi Fallen Order again, Blair Witch, Cyberpunk 2077,
Blair Witch, good lord.
Spiritfarer, Battletoads, Legend of the Right, Sketchbook RPG, Game Pass.
You brought that back?
Yep. Episode of Age of Empires 2 remastered, Wasteland 3, Double Fine is joining, which we'll get through that. Psychonauts 2, Dragon Ball 2, Kakarot, 12 Minutes, Way to the Woods, Gears 5, Bound by Blood, Gears Escape. So much stuff. Terminators joining Gears, Forza Horizon 4, Dying Light 2, State of Decay 2, Phantasy Star Online 2. I mean, just a ton of stuff. So
Dying Light 2 looked really great, but the one that caught my eye was a 2-minute, 15-second trailer. Right in the middle of that, 12 minutes. It looks incredible.
Oh yes.
It's a time loop game where it's all top down in a small room or small apartment. It's got kind of an anime feel to it, and the lady starts out telling him Go look for the trailer for E3 2019, 12 minutes. It looks really cool.
They shoved a lot of innuendo and a lot of really visceral feeling conversations and actions into that little trailer that they had. It looks, I mean, you don't have a clear picture of exactly what's going on, which is good because a lot can happen in 12 minutes. And especially if you're having a time loop that's going to keep you stuck in those 12 minutes, who knows where that's going to go. And that, man, I am intrigued. It got hooks in deep.
Now, I know I see just kind of dumped on here in the movie, but if you actually watch the gameplay of Blair Witch, I actually looked pretty good. I mean, it looked really good, and some of the video I was watching today, I don't think it was part of the package you sent us, but some of the video I was watching, the commentary I heard, I think they were right on point when it said that that movie came out so long ago, but with where everything is,
99.
as far as where gaming is right now, when you look at the gameplay of it, it looked pretty solid. It looked realistic. It looked like it was coming from the video you saw in the movie, which, granted, once again, if you like the movie, whatever, but if you really look into it and at least watch the video play of it, you will be impressed by how it looks.
Yeah, no, the gameplay looks smooth and decent for that kind of game, but it just
now should we be worried now that games are starting to get redone and we're starting to see old games come back again with
every decade or so?
That was a big thing that was talked about this year, is that's a lot of like remastered and things like that. So
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of being able to play through some of my childhood in modern day graphics. So
well, I get that, but what
we'll
makes
get there.
me nervous is how we talked about that in the movies, like how we're seeing all these movies get rebooted. We're now starting to see games getting rebooted. That's usually the first sign of thinking that we're losing, ideas.
I'm being rebooted for a long time. So
I've never really had an issue with movies being rebooted. So, I mean, I like seeing the new fresh takes on them. Even if it is just recycling old ideas, I still have fun with it. So I don't mind them rebooting games.
Let's go into the big ones.
A good time, no matter what.
Let's go into the big ones with Microsoft. So Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
Oh my god.
we get a nice little cinematic trailer, not a really gameplay again, but the big reveal for this time was a date, and two, Keanu Reeves is in it.
Oh yeah.
Not just in it, he hosted the thing for it. He
came out, and just the utter joy on his face to take the stage, I think was one of the most happy moments to just watch.
It was so awkward. It was great.
Oh, no. The best part was when the audience member is like, "You're
he said, well, the scenes are going to be breathtaking.
And the audience member goes, "You're breathtaking," and
you're breathtaking.
On a beat, Keanu points right back at him. He's like, "No, you're breathtaking. Like
you're all breathtaking. You all get a breathtaking. Check under your seats."
I love that he lost himself. That he's like, "Okay, wait, guys, I have to get through this.
I gotta finish this."
Which I know, Ron, you're the biggest one for Cyberpunk 2077. You talked about it last week on the cast. What do you think?
Well, number one, Keanu Reeves is obviously a national treasure, and he is to be protected at all costs because he's amazing. That was completely unexpected for me. I've always had a big need for this game to be in my life ever since I saw the first trailer. God, it feels like a decade ago now. But I think it was like 2011. So 8 years now I've been waiting for this game. Just the first cinematic trailer that I saw had hooks in me for forever. But now that they've added one of my favorites of all time into the fold, I mean, I can't even contain myself anymore. I can't wait for this game to come out.
You get to burn down a city with Keanu.
I know.
So
it's literally getting to live a dream.
Were you the guy in the live stream chat that said when Keanu came out on stage, you got so excited you grabbed your butt cheeks? Was that you?
That was not me, but I did.
that was the
Didn't
funniest thing. I don't know. I was sitting on my butt cheeks, so I couldn't grab them, but it was just like it was so random in the all this excitement chat, and then that guy just jumping out there.
So when I saw the Keanu Reeves segment of it, the first thing I thought about is one of my favorite movies and one of his classic movies that a lot of people forget he even made. It looked like Johnny Mnemonic 20 years later when he's out in the world. Ice-T and him have just ruled the world, and that's what I saw. I saw Johnny Mnemonic rogued out, man, and I'm that got me, like you talked about last week, Ron. I'm like, okay, sounds pretty cool, and looked at a little bit of the trailer. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then when I watched that, and then Keanu came out, I was like, sold. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'll be in line to get it.
The
Yeah,
cinematic
4/16/2020 is the date that we got, so it's sooner than later.
It
So you're not
is,
making it-
and it's the greatest marketing idea that I can think of for them, because they've always said it'll be out when it's ready, and because they saw the game and they saw what it could be, and they've been waiting for it. But to pull something like this at such a huge platform as E3 and throw out one of the guys who is riding high right now with the John Wick movies, with being in Toy Story 4. I mean, he's
being all around awesome.
I know he's in everybody's heads. He's in everybody's faces, and to put him out there as one of the big pushers of this game, I mean, it's smart, dude.
I put a little Keanu Reeves word game in our Malice Corp Facebook page, so go play with that for a while.
Oh yeah,
the cinematic looked really cool, and it looks like it's going to be an amazing story, kind of a futuristic, Grand Theft Auto type thing. But I want to see gameplay. It looks like there's going to be really cool gameplay. You know, the guy had the arm blades, and the other could mess up electronic stuff. I want to see what they're going to be able to do with all these, it's a body.
Yeah, that was surprising. We weren't shown gameplay with it's going to be out before the next E3. So at Gamescom, they might show it. So they might show gameplay at Gamescom. Some of the other big news from Xbox. Double Fine's joining Xbox. What do you guys think about that? I think that's huge because I love Double Fine games.
I think it's amazing. They put out one of the greatest games of the last generation in, oh my God, Brutal Legend. Yeah, I almost said Guitar Hero. But they got a big name for that. They got Jack Black to come in and just raise all kinds of hell.
Not just Jack, but KG was in there too. It was a total
he was the main focus, but they did pull all kinds of they pulled Lemmy, Osborne, freaking all kinds of rock gods to freaking post roles in this, and it was an amazing game. I don't know why it didn't do well in sales, and it should have got a sequel, but it didn't. So hopefully, with a platform as big as Microsoft, Double Fine, who has always been able to put out quality content, will even have a much bigger step up.
Well, that was the best thing about that announcement, was that it was like the CEO of Double Fine came out and he was like, "We'll do whatever you guys need. We'll make some Halo games for you." And they're like, "Just do what you enjoy doing."
He said, "No, we'll work on some Halo stuff. We'll do some Excel if you want."
Yeah. So I love that they're just like, "Here, we just want you to join us. We want your exclusivity. Go make the games you love to make." So, other big thing, Gears. Gears Escape was introduced, and this is where you get your weird part of the panel. Was introduced with pyrotechnics like no other on any panel, with all those fires shooting off. But I want to get Masonic Vader's thinking on this, because they were talking about how they're going to have celebrity players on this to see how the playing goes, and they showed Xavier Woods, AJ Styles, and Breeze sitting there playing, and that was it. They literally showed them for like 2 seconds, and they smiled at the camera.
They didn't even talk or anything.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, what's up? All right, play it."
Like, "Hey, here's some WWE superstars, but we're not going to actually use them because we've already used Keanu."
You know what though, but that also goes to show you though that, especially with Xavier Woods, I know AJ Styles is big in playing on it because they obviously used him for the 2K for this year for WWE, which I got last week. They're big in gaming. And just having them for 2 seconds, showing that they're playing and giving the thumbs up, will bring over that niche of people who are hardcore Xavier Woods followers, and a lot of WWE fans as a whole. They will buy that game just with the thumbs up from them.
Forza Horizon 4 has a Lego car expansion to the point that they brought out a life-size McLaren made out of Legos on the stage for it. Was how they
I think about all the time and effort and man hours that went into building that thing, and they talked about it for 10 seconds.
I know it's gonna be like 500 man labor hours. Just why?
All right. They really promoted this before the show. And last week we had the rage from Icy Zorro talking about it. What you guys think about the Elden Ring trailer, which is the George R.R. Martin game? Because I was very confused.
I will say this. Because it was so hard to follow, I'm intrigued.
It was weird. Arms like wrapped around somebody, and then one like knight picking up an arm and sticking it on them.
Right. I have no idea.
It's very Martin.
I know it is. That's the thing.
Like trying to be Kojima with his game. So
I have no idea what's going on. No idea what's happening. I have no idea about plot or what type of gameplay it's going to be. If it's going to be an RPG, action RPG. What? I don't care though, because I want to see what he's capable of putting through his story into this type of medium. And my curiosity is going to get the better of me, even if everyone says it's crap as it comes out.
It's
I want him to finish the damn books.
Well, wait, it's safe to say that if he is making a game and you get the game, you're not going to expect DLC for at least 4 years.
Oh, at least. At least.
All right. So buy the game.
24.
Buy the game and pray to God that it has enough stuff for you can go 4 or 5 years before you're like, hey, can we get something new? And he might bring it to you.
Its DLC will be coming out at the same time as Half-Life 3.
Probably, yeah. Last major thing from Microsoft was Xbox Scarlet, their new gaming platform. The major thing that they said about it on that panel, I mean, other stuff came out since then, but that you could turn your console into a cloud server, woohoo! And that it'll be launching with the new Halo Infinite game, which that trailer
looked good.
Looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, no gameplay, but the cinematic was fantastic. I haven't played a lot of Halo games. I don't own an Xbox, but I've read some of the books, and that looked good.
The Halo games are always good fun, even if the story plot becomes convoluted, and they put so much work into those games with the graphics engines and with the voice acting that they get. I mean, they even brought in what's his name, Nathan Fillion, who's just like a bit part on Guardians, and I mean the effort that they put into it shows, and it always comes out to be at least a good time. Not necessarily groundbreaking like the first trilogy was, but at the same time, like I said, just the fact that they're worth the money that you put into it and the time that you get out of it is just, it's phenomenal. It's fun.
I just want Rooster Teeth to start making Red versus Blue again now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now I'm like Icy. I do not have an Xbox. Never have owned one. But some of the stuff that I did look at it when I was checking out the trailer was the fact that some of the additional stuff, like it sounds like to me, the subscription service they have currently right now, it doesn't seem like it's up to PlayStation standards because PlayStation with their subscription and even with Nintendo with their subscription, there are games that they allow you to download and have fun with and stuff. To me, it seemed like they're going to be jumping on board with this with the next one. So if I'm off on this, let me know. But that's what it sounds like. There's some other stuff they did. They added a more reasonable price with additional free games to play with the subscription.
They're doing stuff to try and make sure more people subscribe. Is the thing, yeah. Which that's what everybody's going to be doing. That's where that's where all the gaming seems to be going. It's all going to digital. They're trying to get all the, they're trying to get to have some type of subscription, stuff like that. Super.
Yes.
What did you have any thoughts on the Microsoft panel?
Yeah. I really liked the Lego Star Wars. I love Lego games. So I thought that looked good. I'm really
right there
excited.
with your sister.
I'm torn because on one hand I do really want Martin to finish the books, but Martin is such a great world builder. Whether or not you think he's a good writer or not, the worlds that he creates are brilliant. And I'm really excited to see that transferred onto the screen.
Brew2 says Lego Forza look, and that does look pretty awesome. The Lego Forza, I am kind of interested in that. So,
now, did they bring up X body wash? Come on now, we talked about it. Where's the body wash?
No.
there was two things that I noticed with Microsoft, jokative wise. One, it really started out strong, and the second half just got really confusing because it just was like all over the place once they just started going trailers like crazy. But the big one was next time I watch a Microsoft panel, every time that World Premiere shows up on the screen, it's time to have a drinking game.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh,
Premiere.
I forgot. I don't know if this one was good for Aaron, but the Dragon Ball game. What do you think about the Dragon Ball game?
I mean, that's one of my favorite storylines.
Yeah, it was.
The Z
Frieza.
storyline.
I was trying to talk with IC about it because I was like, oh, Dragon Ball, I can finally Super Saiyan. And he's like, you're saying these words. I don't know what they mean. You could be making this all up for all I know.
Yeah.
I really
really like
talking about character names and stuff. I'm like, I have no reference here.
I like because they hit on all the major plot points. They hit on the first battle with the Saiyans at the beginning with Vegeta, and just went all the way through the whole Frieza saga. And the fact that they are going back to that really shows how much, number one, these new series aren't really hitting with fans as much as they should be. And number two, just how epic the first series was. I mean, the Z series by itself. And I love the fact that they're letting you control those big name characters all the way through, and you get to play through all of those old amazing points in the series. So yeah, I was kind of shocked because I wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, very pleasantly surprised.
Next panel, Bethesda. Start out with a "We Are All Bethesda" gamer opening, and they definitely didn't hold back on jokes and making fun of themselves for Fallout 76 on how it rolled out. You got
And good for it.
Elder Scroll Blades getting added to Switch and having crossplay, more stuff coming to Fallout 76, Ghostwire Tokyo, Elder Scrolls Online getting some add-ons, Commander Keen coming, an Elder Scrolls card game, Rage 2, Wolfenstein, 2 new games with VR Cyberpilot, Young Bloods, and Deathloop, Orion, Doom Eternal. And yeah, that's what they had to bring to the. So, what'd you guys think of their panel?
There was one clear winner out of those. Doom looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It looks nuts. It's first person Prince of Persia with monsters, and it's incredible.
It did.
Yeah,
look
it's
good.
It looks hard.
It's
Oh,
Doom.
yeah. It's always been.
There's a God mode cheat. Okay.
IDDQD the hell out of that thing because seriously, man, it looks like a non-stop freaking thrash metal video. I love it. I love
Good
every
call.
second of it. It's
What'd you
just
guys think?
amazing,
On the Doom front, on
It's
that type
Cannibal Corpse meets Meet the Feebles.
right?
Well, and I love that the special edition that they're releasing comes with the freaking Space Marine helmet that you can actually wear. I was
hell
like,
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I forgot that part.
Well, if it actually does show up or later on. Mm-hmm.
Were
Yeah.
there?
You have to pay $20 to make it fit your head.
Oh my god.
Size and feel.
They're gonna say you could use it, but they're gonna start you off with just a basic Halloween plastic one. You have to upgrade to it.
well, okay. So I love the opening of this show just because of what Todd was saying when he was like, after making Fallout 76, surprised you're still here. And then him talking about the communities, like we built a post-apocalyptic world where people can, kill and ravage each other, and you guys are so nice to each other that you leave like food and water out for the newbies and wait.
They're leaving Fear the Walking Dead boxes out there. It's like, take what you need, leave what you don't.
Well, they're leaving it out there because you'll find out if you play it, you can't carry all this stuff around, and they've limited how much you could store, so you can't just throw it in your place.
So
That's
it's a
why they're
flaw,
really
not a
leaving
sign.
it out there. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I played Fallout for I don't know how long, and I loved it. And I was so hyped about Fallout 76. And like we were talking about pre-show, man, I spent that much money on it. I played it for about a week or two, and then I didn't touch it until about a month ago. So
Wow.
I'm encouraged by what I saw on there. And I'm encouraged by some of the stuff that they're going to be changing and trying to bring back to Fallout as far as that. But it's safe to say, man, they've lost a lot of they've lost a lot of customers or a lot of people playing their games. They're going to come back if they can keep fixing it. But Fallout 76 was a really horrible punch to the jaw.
Polyfuse said that they need a backup quest in 76 now. Backpack quest. So they get more backpack spots.
Make it like World of Warcraft, so you can just hang bags on yourself.
Exactly. Okay, so Wolfenstein's getting a new game. That looks really cool. But we know about Wolfenstein, we know about Rage 2, we know what Doom, we know what those are. So the two that they released trailers for that we have no idea what they're about, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the trailers. Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop.
Deathloop looked cool. Ghostwire, I'm confused. I mean, there wasn't much to get from it. But Deathloop is
awesome.
What I got from it was you are kind of like a ghost hunter in a haunted Tokyo, where all of these all of the urban legends that you hear about, like, basically have come to be, and you have to muddle through that. And the fact that I just, the visuals were excellent. The nods to old Japanese horror legends, basically, in like, oh God, I can't remember the names now. Sorry, but you're gonna have to forgive me. But they nodded to a lot of the old myths and legends from Japanese folklore throughout that. And the fact that they're nodding to those and they're trying to put them in games is very reminiscent, almost like a Supernatural episode for me. And that's a formula that has worked well for the CW over 15 seasons now. And the fact that they're doing it in a video game, I think it bodes well. I think people will pick up on that.
Yeah, for me, it was Deathloop. Deathloop looked incredible. I mean, I'm a sucker for time loop stuff anyway, but this is the two games that really stood out to me were 12 Minutes and Deathloop. And this one is, they look like very different stylistically. This one is more, these two are trapped in a loop together and they have to kill each other to break it somehow. But killing each other doesn't work. I don't know. I wasn't sure what the actual story.
It's to have the plan work or continue. He has to kill her, and for them to destroy the plan, she has to kill him. Like, that's the way that they were trying to describe it. Was kind of being explained, was that she has one mission, he has another, and you have to keep killing each other. I don't know, it might just end up being a shooter. So but no gameplay yet, but it does look amazing. That does look really cool. It looks like a cool concept. So I have no idea on that, but then everything else was just really just like, here's add-ons that we're doing our other stuff. Your next panel was, if you like blood and gore and really crude language, Devolver is the panel for you.
Dude.
Oh, man.
This was the oddest, weirdest panel.
I still don't know exactly what they were selling, but that was my favorite presentation.
Well, their games are Fall Guys, Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gundead. I don't know if that was a joke or not, but
I didn't know if the entire presentation was a joke. I could not tell.
No,
it was odd.
So the Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gundead is for arcades. It's an arcade system. So that's why I don't know if it's true or not. The Devolver bootleg, which was genius. I love that. The Messenger Picnic Panic. Carry On, which looks absolutely amazing, and then My Friend Pedro, which looked like a parkour shooter, but then you're a banana.
You're a banana.
Yeah.
It was so weird. Yeah.
But this was a 20-minute movie that they did for this. They had RoboCop homages, they had Terminator homages in the filming, and yeah.
It was the whole thing was meta. They were talking about how they don't want to be like all the rest of these presentations where they're just getting up there and telling you how world-changing their systems are, how great their games are, and they wanted to just go direct to it. And they're like, we don't have the budget for that. Plus, our CEO is a robot, and she's not working. It was bizarre. The one lady refused to swear and kept on saying all these replacement swear words, whereas the CEO presenter was like foul-mouthed, and it was so much fun. The My Friend Pedro one, that looks fun.
Yeah, as the banana parkour. Carry On, I love, it's reverse horror. So you're the monster killing everybody. That
horror. Let's enunciate there.
Yeah.
Reverse horror.
The entire it was just so bananas. But it made me. It did its
You
job.
son of a bitch.
I'm sorry.
He had
It
to.
was just bonkers off the wall, and the presentation itself, like you said, it left you not knowing what the real games were and what the jokes were. But I wanted to buy all of it.
I think all the games shown are legit shown things. Like the Devolver, them bootlegging themselves. So instead of having Hotline Miami, there's Hotline Milwaukee.
Like Milwaukee, oh my god!
I think it's a true thing when they were like, "Hey, everybody's always bootlegging games. We're gonna beat everybody to it and bootleg our own games." And
That's funny.
this is just Devolver having fun and being like, "Let's just have fun with the stuff that we do." So
I know, like I said, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain if everything is real, but whatever's real, I'm gonna buy it, and that's the whole point of making these press conferences, is to get people to want to buy your stuff. And it worked. It worked on me.
Hell yes, it was, and it kept me awake, which I appreciated after some of the other ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
which probably you should have watched Devolver after the next panel, which is PC.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
gaming.
should have flipped it.
I'm not gonna go through everything.
I kind of wanted to go back to Devolver as a palate cleanser.
Yeah, they brought a lot of stuff. This was tough. PC gaming was extremely tough. It felt like a presentation from 15 years ago by the way that they were all dressed up in nice suits on stage, and they were treating it like where Devolver's talking like, hey, we're going to do something different. PC gaming was like, why change something? Why change anything? Let's just do it the same way. And what got so sad about it was after every game presentation, they'd ask the people, and when can we expect it? And it was just like it was kind of sad pulling words out of the people to talk about the games.
Yeah.
When you want to talk about awkward moments for E3, watch the PC gaming, because that was the one that had the most awkward moments, based off of the host, and go ahead.
It was just one long series of awkward moments. That's all it was. I mean, it became so hard to follow. Even just after the first interview, I had to start clicking ahead through pretty much everything.
Yeah.
There was some great games in there, but what I mean by awkward moments, they brought out the creator of Ancestors, which is an evolution game. It's the Humankind Odyssey. So you go through the evolutionary chain, but where it was awkward was the creator was the creator of Assassin's Creed, and he's no longer with Ubisoft to make the Assassin's Creed game. So he's talking about like, oh, I've been waiting to be on a big platform at E3 for the longest time, and he was just making all these little like jabs at the
Ubisoft. I know, and that's what I'm talking about. The interviews themselves, if you block those parts out, then it becomes a series of pretty decent trailers.
And God bless the hostess. She was doing her best to, like Mess was saying, pull words out of those people, but they made her do some awkward stuff. She's holding a giant gun there that's from a 2D side-scrolling shooter. There's another one where, and I believe Mess, when he was talking to us, said that, oh man, they literally just jumped the shark.
Yeah.
In a shark
Like,
costume.
why?
Because, they were talking about a game that's where you're the shark.
Which actually looks like a cool game.
It doesn't look bad.
Maneater is the name of the game, and that actually looked really cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a ton of games that showed up. Was there anything in the PC gaming panel that you guys actually caught that was
Maneater?
Maneater was one.
I'm angry at the Songs of Conquest because I have those stupid Songs of Conquest still stuck rolling around in my head. Thank you very much for that one. I kind of thought, what was the game? Shenmue?
Oh, no.
It looked horrible. It kind of looked
one of the worst games ever made.
Yeah.
They got a Kickstarter to get it made, and now everybody's just going with Shenmue 3, treating it like it was an amazing game. It is the equivalent of a really bad B Nick Cage movie getting more following.
I thought it kind of looked like if you had the premise of Kung Fu Hustle, with they're all dancing and doing their kung fu in the street, but everyone's just drunk off their ass.
it looks like the graphics from Shenmue 2. Like they were literally like, we're not going to update anything here. So
It looked awful.
no, Maneater looked really cool. The other ones that I had marked was the Moons of Madness, the first-person horror game, looked kind of cool to me. Conan Chop Chop looks freaking
terrible name, but it looked fun.
The cartoon version of Conan the Barbarian looks great. So
It did.
Grifflands looked it was kind of cool because you go in with card negotiations or decide it's a card game, but you decide whether to negotiate or fight by using your cards. And then the other one that I had that looked really, really cool to me was what closed the show out, and that was Genesis Noir, the noir-based black and white game. Just for the look, I'll end up playing it. So
the art direction on that looked amazing.
Mhm.
I will say that, but I don't know if it's just not a pull for me. PC games aren't really that big a pull for me. So I mean, maybe just subconsciously I kind of skated over everything, but nothing really caught my eye during this press conference.
And then but that was the worst part. The Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
They said they're only going to talk about what's in the trailer, which has no gameplay. The only benefits of it that we got was they're using 5th edition D&D handbook, looked what worked, and that's how they're doing it. And then they're going to do a tabletop prequel campaign to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, well, it sounds maybe cool. I mean, because I've been looking for
anything. They didn't give you anything.
No. Exactly. And that's the problem, is because I've been waiting for. I mean, people have been waiting for this game for decades now, almost. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, give us anything.
Well, it's like he asked a question about gameplay, and then they went, "Well, we're not going to talk about any of that. We're only going to talk about what you see in the trailer." And then he asked again afterwards because it's like the trailer looks great, but it was weird. I firmly believe as we get to the end of this that PC Gamer was the worst panel was the definite loser.
Easily.
Of E3. Okay.
Easily.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we done talking about PC Gamer? I fell asleep there drilling on.
Vader, wake up.
Good God, man. That was the most boring ass segment
I forgot you were on the
ever.
cast there for like 15 minutes.
I couldn't even talk about it, man. I couldn't do it. I used to be a great PC gamer, but man, that put me to sleep, man. Come on, let's move on.
It felt like
that
old PC Gamer magazine where you were skipping that game looks
a lot of that stuff looked like new for the Pentium 1.
Yeah, like from War Games. I feel like Matthew Broderick looking through the magazine. The future is now.
Like, oh man, I can't play Ancient Art of War at Sea anymore because I upgraded to 486. Now it's way too fast.
Wow. And it ended really awkward too.
The other thing you can't forget about PC Gamer was, man, they made sure to take care of their sponsors because they're like, hey, here's a gaming chair by this sponsor, and here's a new laptop screen by Samsung.
Here's an ergonomic mouse pad.
Maybe I should have paid attention. I would have got my swag. What the hell? I want my swag.
The best thing about that I didn't bring up about PC Gamer is the PC Gaming show was sponsored by Epic Games, which is a Steam. It's not Steam. It's against Steam. They're a competitor. It's a competitor.
Rival.
And during one of the interviews, one of the guys talking about the games, he's like, "Yeah, you can get it on Steam. We all love Steam. We all have Steam."
Oh man,
that part I saw.
That's epic.
The guy's like, you can get it on Steam.
Hey, can we talk about Load Runner now on PC? Come on, let's go.
No, let's go to Ubisoft. Ubisoft opened up with an Assassin's Creed Symphony, and
that was the coolest part. I think of the entire. That was
awesome.
It was beautiful.
I'm gonna unpopular opinion here.
Well, then mute your mic.
I love Ubisoft, but it felt like a lot of the time in that presentation was la la la, sing and dance. We don't have anything to show you right now. Like it was 7 minutes of the Ubisoft or of the Assassin's Creed Symphony, and then later there was a full-on dance number about just so you guys just don't have any content to show us, huh?
Did you see the dates too? That's actually gonna be a touring concert.
Yeah.
I would go see that, but
the gameplay was in the background though. That was the thing.
But it was all old games. I was like, yeah, oh, I remember playing that one. You know, watching the video footage, and I was like, God, I have loved so many of these Assassin's Creed games. But they didn't show us anything new.
No, not for Assassin's Creed. That's not going to be until next year. But you did get a really, really long demo of Watch Dogs Legion.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
That
my
looked
winner.
awesome.
That's my winner of this year's games.
absolutely.
Watch Dogs Legion looks phenomenal.
Like the little old lady with the mask, and
That
she's
was
in her
the
little
best part.
outfit,
The
just
granny
walking up.
taking out guards.
She's not old. She's just experienced. Boom! I loved it. That was
It was
amazing.
I
It was
love
so
this game engine that they're giving you, where they're like everybody is available to grab and make part of your team.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the entire world can be recruited and has a script written for them and is voice acted. That's incredible.
I mean, to put it on, I mean, I love interconnectivity. I really do. But to put it on that scale, it seems dangerous to me because it can so easily fail. And I'm hoping that they did it right. Because if they did, that's going to be a turn that the gaming industry really needs.
If it does what it says it's going to do, it's going to win Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, easily.
And I'm really looking forward to playing it.
It
I trust
looks awesome.
when it comes to sandbox stuff.
The other Watchdog stuff I've seen looked cool, but I never actually was like, I want to get the Watchdog games. This is the first one where I was like, I really want to get this game.
Yeah, me too. I skated over the originals. And
Then you got the weird stuff because Rob McElhenney came out to present a TV show that they partnered with Microsoft to make.
Yeah, Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They started playing the Always Sunny credits music, and I was like, wow, that's a weird thing. Everybody just associates that with Always Sunny. And then Rob McElhenney came out. He's like, hey, an Ubisoft TV show.
You know what though? I Ubisoft has always put out quality stuff. I don't think there's one product of theirs I have bought that I have not been disappointed about.
Agreed.
So I'm really looking forward to that game. The one we were just talking about, Legion Dogs and stuff. Whatever it's called.
Legion Dogs, awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
hungry.
I was trying to get my thoughts all together and stuff.
Go to a ball game, get a Legion Dog? Yeah.
Yeah, with everything on it. Ubisoft is just, like I said, though, they produce a lot of good games. And I have, like I said, not been disappointed with a single game that I bought from theirs. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do.
Yeah.
Well, the clip of the TV show that they showed reminded me a lot of, like, it seems like it's going to be a mashup between the Office Parks and Rec style and Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And that looks, McElhenney TV for 15 years.
It looks funny. It's E3. I don't need to see TV show. This isn't upfronts. So,
Well, this is, like I said, this is another thing where I was like, that's kind of cool, but it's not really new games.
Maybe it's real world Ubisoft.
If I can control Rob McElhenney with a controller, I will do that.
that would be funny. But I love that Rob McElhenney was talking about like the character he plays, and he's a creative director, and making fun of the creative directors, and his comment was like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked because there's so many creative directors in the back right now.
Uh-huh.
It's a live version of Choose Your Own Adventure.
We got Rainbow Six Siege, Brawlhalla's adding Adventure Time characters to it. Then you had a little bit of the trailer that was shown about 2 months ago. John Barenthal's in Ghost Recon. He's the bad guy for Breakpoint, and then he came out to talk on stage like Keanu. It was kind of cool.
With his American Staffordshire Terrier just randomly sitting by his feet.
I know.
You didn't have some of the dogs sit him. What the heck?
Then it is not a Ubisoft presentation if there's not a weird Just Dance promotion. This time we had the rainbow Mohawk panda. No, not a dancing tomato this time. You got a For Honor game event coming. Rainbow Six Quarantine, which looked kind of cool. Division 2 getting some stuff. The Uplay Roller Champion, and then Gods and Monsters, which I thought Gods and Monsters was already a game. Is this a remake of that, or is it actually a brand new game?
No, I don't think it's a remake. I think they're actually doing they're doing a whole new take on the Gods and Monsters thing. So,
okay, yeah. So that was Ubisoft. Did you guys have any? What won? What lost in Ubisoft?
I mean,
No.
Watch Dogs, clearly.
other than
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs was it for me for
Yeah.
Ubisoft at least. That was the. I mean, like we said, if they can do what they're promising, it's going to be amazing.
And then, okay, the last two panels really, I think, were potentially the winners of this year's E3. And that was Square Enix brought you more of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. We know it's 2 parts, not episodes, so it's split into 2, which is probably where the split was at for the discs before.
Yes.
They gave us the game, the fighting mechanisms. It's real time, not turn based.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, we got
It did.
an extended trailer. Tifa got a huge crowd reaction. Sephiroth got a huge crowd reaction. Then we got that it's coming out March 3rd of 2020.
And we saw a lot of gameplay. It looked
A lot of it. Yeah. I mean, being able, because when I played the original one, it's kind of like akin to reading the book. But then you get this, and it's akin to actually being there. You see the difference in the very angular, very pixelated world that they had at the beginning when they first did the game, and then now it's a fully fleshed out. The characters are lifelike and just they look beautiful. The art direction, the shading, the coloring of the world is beautiful.
Yeah, you can almost smell the smoke coming off of Barrett's.
I know, right? It's just it just looks gorgeous. I can't wait. I can't wait to play it, and I will gladly spend $120 to play through the entire game.
Absolutely.
So they
Okay. And then after Final Fantasy VII, they just went like on a full barrage of trailers of showing games that are being remastered like crazy.
Yes.
You got a new chapter of Life is Strange. Well, Life is Strange 2 is coming out. Crystal Chronicles remastered. Octopath Traveler, Last Remnant remastered on Switch. Dragon Quest Builder 2, Dragon Quest 6 coming out on the Switch. Circuit Superstars looks like a cute little racer game. Battalion 1944, Square Enix music. Final Fantasy music's finally going to be streamable. Kingdom Hearts 3 DLCs coming. Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers expansion. Dying Light 2 in spring of 2020. Romancing Saga 3. Final Fantasy Brave Exodus, which is another mobile game, getting another mobile game. Outriders Shooter. Ononaki, FF8 remastered, which I got actually kind of excited about that because I love it. Final Fantasy 8. And then you got what everybody was waiting for, and this is where I really want to get you guys to start talking. Avengers. They gave us the Avengers.
I can't wait.
Well, they gave us some.
Excited. What you guys think? Go.
Honestly, I don't see what everybody's hating on. I think that they look good. I think they sound good. The voice cast that they got to represent all these characters is there. I mean, it's got
Nolan North.
I know it's got some legends on it. So
Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, and Nolan North. That's good. And that's 3 amazing voices. That just those voice actors alone has me bought into this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the way that they have the control of, well, I don't know if it's control yet. I don't know if it's actual gameplay footage, but from the looks of it, the third-person control that you have of Tony Stark, the third-person control you have of Thor, and of the Hulk, all look incredibly immersive and look very smooth. And I like the way that I like the way that they've presented this game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if that's how it's going to play out. I know that earlier I read that it's going to be somewhat customizable how you grow the Avengers from the beginning to the end point, and I'm very curious to see how they're going to make that pan out. I want to know how much customizability they're going to have in growing the talents that you, and so that you can, how you grow the talents of the
work suits.
Play them as a team. I want to see that. I can't wait. I'm really, really excited about. I mean, because Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix working together has always been a good thing for me, and I'm really curious to find out how it's going to play out.
What'd you think, Masonic? You look.
Yeah, man.
Avengers. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna buy the game. I know I will. I'm excited for the gameplay itself. A lot of things you said. I'll be perfectly frank, though. I was not happy with the way the Avengers looked. I'm not expecting to see Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans or anything like that. But to me, they looked like generic Avengers. Like They look like they pulled facial recognition from old games. One of them looked like he was from freaking Resident Evil. Captain America looked like he was like 40 pounds overweight in his gear. Thor looked like his head was smaller than his body. I don't know. I was kind of the only one that really looked good for what they were to me was Hulk. But you can't go wrong with Hulk. He's just Hulk, you know.
Iron Man looked good too.
Huh?
Iron Man
The armor looked great. Yeah, it's one of those things where
Tony's hair looked amazing.
I was not impressed by what they did to the actual physical characters.
I still think this is alpha footage though too. I don't think it's fully.
It is. They said that it's pre-alpha footage actually.
I hope so because, like I said, Captain America looked disproportionated. He looked
like
bigger than Hulk.
He looked like you would actually look if you're wearing a flak jacket rather than the movie, armor that he had.
Sure.
But I was talking to Super about it, while we were still watching through things, and I said the Avengers game looks good, and I love Nolan North. But it just feels weird to see/hear the wrong voices on the characters.
Well, Ruchu says it still looks way better than DC's Injustice. So.
That's true. It's very true.
What are you gonna say, Super?
But don't knock Injustice. Injustice is amazing. They're both brilliant games.
It's
game
very
looks
strange. It's very strange, like you said, to hear. You're so used to hearing the voices of Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo, and to not hear those voices, it's jarring a little bit. So it would take a little getting used to. But people on the internet, they just need to quit crying.
Well, no, they brought it up from Marvel Gaming. They brought it up on stage. This is unique to Crystal Dynamics' interpretation of the event, which clearly what that means is, i.e., not paying for likenesses or voices,
and not
which is fair.
They're not paying for anything except for the license to use the character.
Now, here's the sad thing: they left Hawkeye out again.
I saw that.
Yeah, why? I don't understand.
Because Hawkeye's a bullshit Avenger.
But this is why, going off, I think the look's going to get cleaned up. I think the game's going to look amazing. What got me most excited about it was, one, the voice actors, but two, they brought up that this is not a 1 year game and just once it's released, that's it. This is a long version game. This is it's a 4-player team play, so you can all play as a different Avenger. But it's following the Division Destiny rules, it sounds like, where it's going to be like there's chapters, and this game's going to keep growing and have more chapters. And the biggest thing was that all the new heroes that get added to the game, all the new regions, not $1 is going to be owed to add this stuff in, which is huge. It was literally a slap in the face to like EA and Activision, where they're just like, all those microtransactions that they make you guys pay for characters and stuff. Yeah, we're not going to do that. And I thought that was
that's because it's Marvel, which is Disney, and they don't need the extra money.
Square Enix, though. There's still microtransactions in video games elsewhere. For Square Enix to nut up and say, no, we're not going to do that.
No, and I get that. Square, they've been around for a long time, as we know, as Final Fantasy and blah, blah, blah. I do appreciate that, because I don't like the fact that was one of the first things I noticed about getting into the newer games with like Battlefront, stuff like that, is that, I grew up on the fact you buy a game and then you run it until you're done with it. And they would add stuff to it and you would run it till you're done with it. And to get a game and then pay like $80 for it, and they say, oh, by the way, if you want to do this, you got to pay another $10, or you have to buy our special coins to be able to upgrade your stuff. Yeah, frustrating. So yeah, the best part of that to me was what you just said, that there will be no additional cost to it. I just really hope they fix up the character looks and everything.
It will. They'll clean it up, especially after all the complaining that has happened online. I mean, there was one of the funniest jokes that I saw was like, who are these events? Are these the backup stunt doubles for the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. They pulled that out of what was it? They mashed up the Spaceballs. You idiots! You captured their stunt doubles, and then they had the new one, which that was funny. I love a good joke, and that was good. That was really good.
There was a comment from I believe the creative director of the project, who said something along the lines of, we absolutely want to listen to our community's feedback. At this point in time, we have no plans to change our character design.
No, they don't.
They're going to clean them up.
There is,
Like I said, it's pre-alpha footage,
but there's no changing character design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no
The
need
other
to.
cool things. I have a PlayStation, so I am going for that early beta that's
Yes.
going to come out. And May 15th, it's coming sooner than you think for the game. So I think the game's going to be phenomenal.
The other thing. The other thing.
Yeah,
that
11 months. And 1 day.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really, really loved about it is that it's a completely new storyline, which means it's not going to follow the movies, but it's also not going to follow the comic books. So that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix both have a very, very large penchant for creating new stories and telling a really tight, really, really engrossing narrative. And if they can do that with the Avengers, sign me up.
Boom.
Yeah, we have one last quick panel. Nintendo brought Dragon Quest VI is getting added into Smash, and it's getting added to the Switch. We got a great joke with Bowser for the presentation, bringing Bowser in instead of the actual Bowser to get the presentation.
That was pretty good.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming. There's a tie-in to Dark Crystal with the Dark Crystal game. You got the Zelda Link Awakening remake, Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, and the Mana Collection. Witcher 3 is coming to Switch. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Resident Evil's on Switch. No More Heroes 3, new Contra game with the Contra Anniversary Collection coming to Switch. Daemon X Machina, Panzer Dragoon, a new Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out in November. Astral Chain is in August. Empire Sin, which is like the Capone game, and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is out in next month.
Yes.
And then Cadence of Hyrule, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Animal Crossing new game, Spotlight of what's being added to Switch, and then Banjo-Kazooie is being added to Smash, and then they let us know that Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is in the works already.
A lot.
Boom.
A lot of games to unpack.
For me, as much as I devoted a lot of time to talking about Cyberpunk and all of the other games that all of the other developers have been putting out, for me, just based on the quality of the content that they have upcoming, the quality of the remasters and the ports to the Switch and the anniversary collections and all of that, Nintendo was the winner of E3 for me. They are producing so many things, and they're bringing so many things back and putting in more in our faces and building on them. And just, there's so much there, so much that they're working on, so much that they're doing. And it's just mind-blowing to me. And all of it looks brilliant. I mean, there wasn't one thing during their press conference that I was like, oh, that looks like crap. All of it was like, oh, that looks really, they can do this now. They can do that. The Contra Anniversary Collection looks amazing. And the new game that they're bringing up looks just as amazing. And it blew my mind. I didn't think that they would surpass my expectations for things like Cyberpunk and all that other stuff. But they did. They really outdid themselves this year.
They had a whole thing on Luigi's Mansion about the different features for the vacuum this time around, and I was like, I'm into this.
It was,
that and the fact that it has a multiplayer now, you can run around with three other Luigis. Come on.
Yeah, I couldn't stop giggling though.
Without showing you anything for the new Metroid game. That's where I know up on this high level for this year's E3.
Honestly, after seeing all that, I forgot about the new Metroid game coming out for what has it been, like 3 hours now?
Yeah.
Come on.
Whatever you else think. On Nintendo.
I'm not much of a Nintendo guy.
I liked it. I liked it.
Well, that's the thing, is their big push this year was to show that the Switch is for all players. They were bringing, some of them are older games where they're bringing Witcher 3 and stuff, but they're like, hey, we're not just going to stick to the kids content games. Switch is for everybody.
Well, I think they're smart though too by like I said, bringing out Contra and everything, because that's heralding back to the original Nintendo days. So
yeah.
not only are they like right now, my kid's on his Switch right now, probably playing Minecraft. You know, to talk about Contra, that'll get me to play the Switch a little bit more. Like I said before, because their subscription, their annual $19 a year, gets you a lot of older games that they're putting on there. They just added 4 more games to it. A lot of the games I played when I was younger and stuff. So you still have the ability to play the old games the way they are, but then they're going to go back and give you a newer version of it. Kind of like what I said at the beginning of the show. Should we get nervous that they're starting to reboot all these old games that we used to play as kids? Yes and no. Yes, because it sometimes to me it shows that creativity is starting to get stale. But no, because of the fact that, yeah, I would like to see a much cooler version of Contra. I'd like to see a first-person shooter of Contra, or even like, you know, I can't think. I was just going Modern Warfare or something like that.
Yeah. No, and that's they're putting the GameStops and stuff out of business because they're just like, we're just gonna have you guys can directly download these games instead of go looking for them to buy them elsewhere.
Yeah, which isn't to me a totally bad thing, but I think they're finding out what all the other mediums that we're using, like movies and TV, are figuring out, and that's that nostalgia sells. Nostalgia will sell a movie, it will sell a TV show, it will sell the hell out of a video game, and they're marketing on that. They're betting on it, and it's honestly a safe bet. It's a really safe bet.
And then talking on the troll front, everybody talked about how good of a troll Nintendo did to their fans by doing Dragon Quest VI characters first, which everybody's like, this, nobody cares about this for Smash. And then they brought Banjo-Kazooie, and the way that they showed Banjo-Kazooie by showing the Duck Hunt, and Dog, that was fantastically done. So I loved it. That was E3. That was E3. It was a long watch. It was hard. It was the year of trailers. That's what E3 was this year, and I really hope they go back to presentations where they're showing gameplay and talking about the games in a little bit more depth and not just throwing a bunch of trailers at us. So
I did the math. If you sat down and watched all of the things, just from the start of the conferences, cutting off the ends where it's people sitting around talking about the conferences, it was 11 hours of stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was mainly just trailers. And so we all consensus loser was PC gaming. Hey, Ron, so your winner was Nintendo, you said?
Yes. Again, honestly, against all odds, because between Avengers and Crystal Dynamics and their work on the Avengers and the Final Fantasy VII remake and Cyberpunk 2077, I thought my loyalties were going to be very divided, but they ended up falling in with Nintendo this year because, man, they really outdid themselves as far as work for the next year is coming. Yeah, as far as that goes, because they just blew my mind.
Yeah. How about you, IC? Was there a winner for you?
There's 3 that I can't really distinguish. Like they could go in any order. Final Fantasy VII remake, Cyberpunk 2077, and Watch Dogs Legion. Like I know I'm going to play all of those. I know I'm going to enjoy the hell out of all of those. As far as overall winner, weirdly, I think Microsoft. It had the best balance of keeping you entertained and showing you cool stuff that was coming.
Yeah. What about you, Masonic?
I will also have to throw in Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs. I'm going to go with for Jedi Order. I know we talked about before, and I know some of the stuff's come out, but that I mean, my name says it all. I mean, that's going to hopefully have the most upswing there. As far as overall presenter, I'm gonna sway toward Ubisoft still. I do want to say Keanu Reeves though was the highlight overall. I thought that was the best part, and they did it right at the beginning of their show, so that was like punch him in the nose, and then I'll suffer through the rest. But I think Ubisoft had a lot of great presentations. They have a lot of great content coming out, and cross my fingers that next year we're going to be talking nothing but good things about Avengers and how I'm kicking everyone's ass with Captain America.
The game's going to be amazing. What about you, Super? Did you have a game winners or panel?
I think Nintendo wins for best games being delivered and overall content. I think that everything that was coming out looked exciting and nostalgic, and games that I would actually go play because I actually have the ability to go play those ones. But Microsoft, I think, had the best panel overall, not just because of Kiana, but they had some exciting games that looked, with the 12 minutes and as some of the other games that I would never have thought about playing, the Blair Witch and things like that. That was exciting. And then Elden Ring too. Really intrigued by that idea and want to see how that one goes. So those were probably my two favorites.
Okay. Yeah, and I for me, Square Enix was Nintendo was very close because I thought Nintendo did a fantastic job, but Square Enix was my main panel just for what we saw for Final Fantasy VII. It gave us more gameplay than any other panel was really showing us that on stuff, and I'm hyped for Avengers. To come from a 10-second trailer that got us hyped before to want to see that much of what was going to happen with Avengers, and then come back with this is what we're going to do. This is the actors that we have being part of it. And this is going to be something that we're looking to continue going with, just like Destiny and Division does. I'm super hyped, and I really think Square Enix killed it. But that's our show. Sony skipped this year's conference, so as you let people know where to follow you and they can continue this conversation with you elsewhere, let us know, did Sony win or lose by skipping the conference based off of what the rest of the conference was? Aaron, where can people follow you?
All right, I am at DOS Newport Kid on Twitter and Instagram, and DOS Newport Kid on both Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. So look me up. And I believe, honestly, Sony lost out by not providing anything in a press conference or showing up to do some gameplay content and some trailers for some new stuff. I think they should have not done whatever they did by not showing up.
Icy Zora, where can people follow you?
At Icy Zora on Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation Network. I think Sony won by not showing up. I think if they didn't have anything that they felt was presentation ready, it's a good idea to stay away. And a lot of the games that we love that we're talking about are going to be available on Sony anyway. So they're still going to get the money from all the stuff that was there. And who knows, if they'd shown up with something half-baked and not great, people would have been like, why didn't you just stay home?
What about you, Masonic Vader? Where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Masonic Vader on Twitter, Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation. I also agree with IC. I think they won just because, like Ford mentioned, a lot of these games will be on PS4. Avengers will be pre-sale on PS4, so they're going to get all that. I think the reason why they mainly won, though, is because of the simple fact that they didn't spend any money this year, because I know these companies probably spent a crap load of money on it. They're saving it all for next year when they're going to probably start showing the PS5 stuff.
Yeah, true. Super, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovianNut, and then you can follow me at SuperHoovianFreak on Instagram. And I was trying to think about, yeah, it's smart that they saved their money. I didn't know that they were I didn't know they were coming out with the PS5 next year. So that makes a whole lot more sense why they would wait and hold back and want to deliver all their content next year. I think we lost out by them not being there because we had to put up with that stupid PC Gamer panel. So.
Okay. And like always, if you guys want to support us, if you want to check out other stuff, look up All Things Nerd on Stitcher, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, anywhere. Share it with friends, review, drop links, drop comments, whatever. And come back every Friday and talk all things nerd with us. And then check out our website, malice-corp.com, for any other type of shows that we do. There's all types of stuff there that you guys can check out. There's wrestling. There's stuff about comic books. There's stuff about just nerd stuff, here being the All Things Nerd podcast. And then there's TV reactions to television shows as well.
Come join our Facebook group as well. I linked a couple of my two favorite trailers into our Facebook group. It's Malice Cast Live, All Things Nerd group on Facebook.
Yes, exactly. And we're interactive there all the time. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at @mest_Malice Corp or on Instagram at mest5150. I am in the consensus with most of this panel, and I do believe that Sony won. And I think the reason being is there was so much trash talk this year about the factor of a lot of mobile games and a lot of trailers and not showing enough actual gameplay content that all everybody's doing now is just waiting and waiting and waiting for what Sony has already been showing us for the last 4 years to come out with the Naughty Dogs, Last of Us sequel, the Kojima game. There's so much stuff that's right there and ready that I think they won big time, because now everybody's just like, they're still anticipating what Sony's going to bring without having to have a presentation to actually do it. So yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, if you guys want to continue these conversations and tell us if we're right or wrong, hit us up on Twitter. With that, thank you for being here. You keep nerding on, and we will see you next Friday.
Carry on.
Peace.